Hey guys, welcome back to the Homestead Fam. Today is a very exciting day. We are doing some garden planning for this 2025 season. I just got all of my seeds in the mail. I have some from last year that I'm using as well, but I wanted to show you what I got for this year, why we got them, what we didn't end up getting this year, and kind of go through all of that with you. And then I like to garden plan on my computer. I use the platform Canva to create a diagram that's really easy to look at, clean cut, and I can kind of get the dimensions in there and use fun little pictures for the actual vegetables. And every time I try to do it on paper, it just ends up looking like chicken scratch and very confusing. So it keeps things neat and organized, and yeah, so let's dive right in to see what seeds we got. Woo! Okay, so I did get some plants, or I did get some flowers as well. I only got some sunflowers. Sunflowers are my favorite flower, and I love the teddy bear flowers. So I got some of those this year too, so I will get those out. I know I got one other pack somewhere in here. Right here. Okay, so we got teddy bear flower, sunflower, and sun gold tall sunflower. So they look very similar, but this one's taller than this one. And I'm gonna set these aside because these will just be going in our flower garden because we are discussing vegetable garden today. I also am going to separate these into two different categories. So we are doing some outside this year, and then this will be the first year we are planting in our greenhouse. It's been a long time coming. Our greenhouse has been in the works for, I think this is going to be like 2.5 years. So it's still not finished, but it's finished enough for us to start growing in it this year and getting it all planned out. So I'm super excited for that. So I'm going to kind of split them up into outside versus greenhouse. So this year we are trying a fun little new guy. We are doing peanuts, and this was more so to kind of do something fun with our little girls. My middle daughter, she loves peanuts, so I think she's gonna be all for this, and I think we're gonna grow these outside or even like in some of those like growing bags. So I'm gonna set those aside. We are also gonna do some of our vining plants like cantaloupe and squash outside on a trellis that we put up last year. So I'm gonna set those aside as well. And then I think everything else is going to be going, corn is going outside as well, of course, and watermelon. Okay, I think that is what we have for outside. So I'm gonna set these aside for outside, and then we're gonna plan the greenhouse. So I wanna show you first what seeds we get. So I get all of my seeds from MI Gardener. I am from Michigan, so I love going to someone local, but they're also just great people, great family, and super quality seeds. I think almost all of them, if not all of them, are heirloom seeds, and they're organic, and I just trust them, and I always have a great germination rate on these, so that's what I just stick to. So if you are looking someplace to get quality seeds, I will link them below. So I also, aside from that, I did get one from Johnny's Seeds this year because I wanted a specific cucumber. So my friend Jill from Whispering Willow Farm, she recommended Katrina cucumbers, and I've been wanting a good just snacking eating cucumber, and so I'm gonna try those this year. Other than that, they're all from Michigan Gardener. So now I have to kind of go through what is gonna go where. So when I think about this, I am thinking about what I want to plant next to each other, what I don't want next to each other, how I want to kind of categorize my garden, if I want sections or if I want it to be more random. And I will say, when I am planning my garden, I am going to be doing different sections. So I'm gonna grow all the cabbage together, I'm gonna grow all the beans together. But then within that, all of the herbs I want to grow, I am going to try and plant those within the different vegetable plants, because the reason I do this is because herbs are great at pest control and great for growing next to your vegetables to keep pests away, to keep disease out. So I'm probably gonna plant basil, rosemary, cilantro, maybe some parsley. I'm gonna grow those and I'm gonna kind of randomly put those throughout the garden, and hopefully that will keep it thriving and keep pests and disease away. So I'm going to group these together. Let's start with our cabbage. So I picked this year purple Savoy cabbage and Napa cabbage. I have been wanting to try and do some kimchi this year. I also really like sauerkraut and any type of fermented cabbage, and Napa cabbage is good for that. And then I also like just having a good like slice and cook kind of cabbage. And so I'm trying the purple Savoy this year, and this was kind of a fun one to try because it is kind of green and purple, and usually we do a green cabbage and a purple cabbage, and so I'm gonna try this one this year. And so these will be going by each other in their own little bed. And then let's look at our greens. So this year I am doing a leaf lettuce and frizzy endive, because this was also another one that I'm trying new this year. I like my greens to have texture, and I'm actually swapping this for my spinach this year. So hopefully that goes well. I like spinach, but it's more so to throw into like a smoothie for me. I would rather have something super textured in my salad, so I'm doing that. And then I'm also going to be doing some microgreens. And the reason for that is I like to have like microgreens on like a sandwich or a taco or anything to just add like a crunch on top. So I want to try and do more microgreens for that purpose this year, and I haven't decided if I'm gonna grow these in the greenhouse or actually inside for like easy snipping. So we will see on that. Next, we have our onions. I'm doing this one is a Texas early grano onion, and then this one is a red onion. So I'm doing both. I love pickled red onions, so I am going all in on the onions this year. And then they cure really well for over winter, so that is why we do onions. Something new we're also doing this year is beans. So we are doing some kidney beans and some navy beans. I have never actually grown these beans before. In the past, I have thought like, oh, they're just so cheap at the store. I will just buy the dried beans and do that. But I wanted to try and grow some this year, trying to be a little more self-sufficient. We have the greenhouse and we have a little bit more space, so I wanted to try some new things. And beans are a staple in our house, so I've been trying to just grow what our staples are and not necessarily a bunch of fluff. So I figured if we use them, let's try and grow them. So these beans will be going next to each other, and I will also be doing our green beans and our peas by it, because they're like a bush bean, and they all kind of grow similar. So this one is a Maxabel Haricot bush bean, and I liked how they are like thinner and snappy. So those will be going over there. And then we are going to be growing peas as well. I have done a lot of snap peas in the past, just like snacking pea pods, but I've never actually done peas to open up, remove the peas and can them. So that will be new for us this year. I'm really excited about this because again, we eat a lot of peas and we love them. So we're trying to grow what we eat. Next up, broccoli. It's a staple. It grew very well last year, and I am going to do a lot of it again this year. This one, let's see, I believe I picked the one that, yes. So this one is the one that if you cut the main head off, you will still get smaller shoots of broccoli throughout the season. And I love that because sometimes for our family, we don't need like a whole head of broccoli. We just want a few snippets to put in like a pasta or something. So I like that it keeps going throughout the season, isn't just like a one, cut the broccoli head down and it's done. Next, okra. Okra is my new favorite vegetable to grow. We always use it in our chicken gumbo, but last year we grew it for the first time and I was hooked. I wanted to grow more. We only had, I think, 4 plants of okra last year and we got so many. They are so fruitful and so easy to grow. And I like that they're very plentiful, but they don't get out of hand. They don't vine. They stand about, what's this one say? It doesn't say the height specifically, but I want to say they were like 3 feet tall was all. So they don't get super bushy. They don't vine. They are very manageable. And we loved doing fried okra this year. And I've heard pickled okra is amazing. So we are doing a lot more of that this year too. Cucumbers. Like I said, I got the Katrina cucumber as a snacking cucumber. And then I got a pickling cucumber as well to have some of each. And I'm excited about that too. Hopefully they do better than last year because I'm not gonna lie, I didn't put much love into my cucumbers last year and it showed. So I got maybe like 5 cucumbers all season. So hoping these guys do a lot better in the greenhouse this year, and I'm hoping to give them a lot more love. And then something that did really, really well last year was our tomatoes. And we are, of course, doing a lot more. I am doing less varieties and only going to do, again, what we eat most of. So I have some already that the seeds are from last year that we didn't plant all of them, and they're little like snacking cherry tomatoes. And so I will be doing some of like maybe a plant or 2 of those because my daughter loves to snack on them. But the majority will be ones that I can. I have a ton of Roma seeds upstairs that I didn't order. And then I have the Homestead tomato this year. And then I have Boxcar Willie tomato, and I've heard great things about both of them. So these will be our go-to for canning tomatoes and making all of our sauces and salsas and just diced tomatoes and canning them. And then if you have not tried this tomato, this is your sign to go get a pineapple tomato. I am not a huge I'm not a huge tomato eater, as in like a raw tomato. Like my daughter will just like eat it like an apple, which I love that for her, but I could never. Last year I planted these pineapple tomatoes and I took a bite out of it and it was the smoothest, sweetest tomato I have ever tasted. And I'm sure, plant them in my garden from here on out because they're just that good. And if I'm gonna sit there and eat it like an apple, you know it's a good tomato. So these will be going in the center of our greenhouse. And so there's gonna be 3 sections. There's gonna be like 3 really long raised beds. And the tomatoes will be in the middle and they will go all the way down our greenhouse because we need the most of those. So I have that, and I'll show you a little bit of what our greenhouse outline looks like at the very end here. Next, we are doing carrots. I got just rainbow carrots, so it's a bunch of different varieties in one packet. So we're gonna have some yellow, orange, purple. We'll have all different types, and then I also have some just orange regular carrots upstairs as well. And I am adamant that I'm going to get good carrots this year. And I'm hoping with our raised beds that will be the case because our soil outside of our house has a lot of clay in it. And that's hard on root vegetables because they don't have the soft soil to like grow in. It's very dense, it's very hard. So carrots have never really grown that great for us. So I'm hoping this year is gonna be our year. And then other than that, I think we have everything except our peppers are also upstairs. So we don't really do much for hot peppers. My husband likes jalapenos, so we will do some jalapenos. Other than that, I like to do bell peppers because that's the majority of what we eat. but we also don't eat a ton of peppers, so I'm not going to be going like all out on peppers. But I did want to try. My kids actually picked these out. I had them help pick some seeds out because, I mean, the ones from My Gardener, they're $2 a packet. So if they can help me out and they're going to get excited about it and grow something new, I'm all for it. So this is a lilac bell pepper, and it's just a purple bell pepper. It's not spicy. It's just like a regular bell pepper. And I'm excited to grow these and add some fun and color to more of our meals, because purple is not a color of a vegetable that you get very often. So that is all of our seeds. So we had a lot there, and now I'm just gonna go through and kind of section out where everything's gonna go. And then once the greenhouse portion is done, I am going to kind of think about what we're gonna do outside. We did lay down a lot of weed fabric last year for our whole garden because we weren't using the greenhouse yet. And I think I'm going to keep that down because I really enjoy having that fabric down. It makes gardening so much more enjoyable. And I know some people don't like the use of plastic in the garden, and I totally understand that. But for my sake, and as a busy mom of 3 who wants to get as much into the garden and as much out of the garden, it just makes it manageable for me. And if I didn't have it, I don't know if I would expand or want to keep doing as much as I do. I also have the mentality of anything I grow in my backyard myself is going to be better than anything that I get from the store. So even if I am using that that plastic fabric, I still wholeheartedly believe that it's better than anything I will buy at the grocery store that anybody else grew. So as I go through this, I have some of it planned out already, but I wanted to kind of discuss why we grow certain things together or not. It's a really simple, easy Google search to know what to grow next to, like your tomatoes, and what's not going to grow good next to them. So for certain things, you're going to want to keep in mind what does well together. There's certain vegetables and plants that do not like to be grown next to each other. So keep that in mind. And then you're also going to want to know how it grows and how they're going to grow together. So you're not going to want to grow a bunch of vining things in the same area that are just going to intermingle and go all over the place. So my plan is to put my tomatoes down the whole center of the greenhouse, and then on either side of the tomato, I am going to layer some carrots and some onions and all of my greens on both sides of the tomatoes because they are going to be shorter. They're not going to go into the tomatoes because those will be pruned up higher. And then I am also going to do some of the herbs within there as well to keep those pests away. Another thing to keep in mind is you're going to want to know how much sun things need. So in our greenhouse, I'm not necessarily worried about how much sun they're going to get. But if you don't have a greenhouse or a super open area, you're going to want to look at your land and figure out what's going to get the most sun during the day. Also, if you have a small space, I mentioned earlier about our vining plants like our squash and our cantaloupe. They're going to be going outside on a trellis. If you have a small space, think vertically. A lot of plants can grow on a trellis and honestly do best on a trellis. Things like tomatoes do amazingly on a trellis. Pickles do amazing on a trellis. Squashes and cantaloupes and anything that tends to vine, get it up on a trellis and go upwards instead of it spreading out horizontally. And that will also help with air circulation, less pests, less likely to rot on the ground, and it'll just get it up and off, more sun, more air, and it's just better for your plants. Okay, so this is what I created in Canva. It's just an outline of our greenhouse and what the beds are gonna look like. And then I put the picture of the vegetables inside of those beds. So this is just a great way to stay organized and have it look nice and not overwhelming as you start to plan and put your garden together. So like I said, I've got the tomatoes all the way down because we want lots and lots of tomatoes. If I have any extra room, I will probably plant more tomatoes. And then all of our beans and peas over here, peppers, okra, we have a cabbage bed over here, broccoli, and then some herbs. And then again, I'm gonna sprinkle the herbs throughout all of the plants to help all of them grow, thrive, and keep the pests away. That is it for now. I just wanted to get these out and kind of get in my mind where everything was going before we get outside and plant. We are in Michigan here, so I'm not starting any seeds right now. I also told myself last year that I want to start more things in the ground so I don't have to worry as much about transplanting things and things not taking well to the transplant. And I just want to do it in the ground, make them strong in the ground and get them in there. So I won't be starting a whole lot. Probably our tomatoes and peppers will be started inside. And then a lot of the other things will probably be started right in the greenhouse. Because we have a greenhouse, we will probably start them out there a little bit earlier because they won't frost if we get a later frost. So make sure you look at the back of your seed packet and follow the advice on there on when to start it. So for these tomatoes, it says start indoors 6 to 8 weeks before last frost. And that's what I will be doing. So you can just, a simple Google search will tell you what your zone is and when your last frost date is, and then work backwards from that frost date. I hope you enjoyed this video. I had so much fun just going through all of my seeds and makes me super excited for spring. If you want to see what I do for my flower garden this year, which I have not even planned out yet, please let me know. I will make another video and we can plan that out together. I am doing some basic flowers that I know will be very prolific, very abundant, and I'm gonna keep it simple this year. But I can still go through that process with you and plan it out with you as well. So if you liked the video, please subscribe and I will see you next time.